So, Junior Rotax about to go into battle. 11 minutes plus an additional lap. So let's have a look at the starting grid. So, Farin Mega, a clean sweep this weekend. Pole position in qualifying and winning both heats yesterday puts him on pole position alongside his nearest closest competitor, Nikita Genzer. Mikkel Pedersen and Janis Diak on row 2. Rafael Renhofer and Nevio Fischer, row number 3. Rafael Balzer and Austin Lee, row 4. Lewis Jacobs and Lewis Reichel, that is the top 10 drivers. Moritz Volber, Louis Detling, Jonas Ungnade, Maximilian Schreier, Rafael Gwitschak, Oleg Lan, Tom Müller, Gregor Feigenspan, Montego Massen, Leon Vakula, Jonny Mertz, possibly Fabrice Weber. We'll see when they roll up on the formation. Richard Thomas, Leandro Fischer, Adrian Rohr and Tom Reger. That is the 26 strong as they now come through. So Jonas Ungnade will be starting, and looks like Fabrice Weber will be a non-starter. So we will have 25 drivers, and obviously we say gute Besserung Fabrice Weber, obviously after that incident yesterday. And main thing is he is has walked away from that, but now we get into rolling start formation. It's down to Farin Mega and Nikita Genzer to control the pace here on the rolling start. So 11 minutes plus an additional lap here in Junior Rotax. So 24 out of the 26 drivers will start the race in the rolling start, but then Jonas Ungnade will be released as soon as the lights go out and we go racing. So it's Mega, Genzer, Pedersen, Stiak, Renhofer, Fischer, Balzer, Lee, Jacobs and Reichel. That's your top 10. Out of the final corner, up to full speed we go. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out, they're off and racing as they hurtle their way through turns 2 and 3. And at the moment, Farin Mega does have the lead. Nikita Genzer has been beaten to second as there's been a little bit of an incident. Oh my goodness me, Nevio Fischer caught up in that one. I think also Rafael Renhofer as well in the 2-3-2. As there's one car trying to go around the outside of turn number 6, but not happening there. And Mikkel Pedersen is leading the way as there is a battle for what is 5th on, well, that's 4th. Hang on a second, Janis Diak and Austin Lee battling over 4th place, and looks like Rafael Balzer in the 217 is right with them. So my goodness me, after all that calamity that caught out the likes of Rafael Renhofer and Nevio Fischer, that allowed drivers like Austin Lee, Rafael Balzer to get themselves up into the top 6. And this is where things get interesting. 9 minutes and 53 seconds plus an additional lap. So Jonas Ungnade will start as my good friend Henry Burdett would say, do a top gear from the rear. Let's see how many places Jonas Ungnade can make up over the duration of this race. But at the moment, Farin Mega is leading by just over half a second from Mikkel Pedersen. Nikita Genzer rounds out the top 3 as Rafael Balzer banzais up the inside of Austin Lee to take 5th position, going through turn number 11. And just behind is Louis Detling in the 201. So we'll find out how much further ahead Farin Mega is, and as he crosses the line, 0.557, Janis Diak puts in the fastest lap of anybody. And Stiak is about 0.67 away from Nikita Genzer, who's trying to give, well, put the frightness on Mikkel Pedersen going through turns 4, 5, into 6. And then you've got the likes of Austin Lee stuck in the middle between Rafael Balzer and Louis Detling. And Austin Lee qualified 10th yesterday, managed to get an 8th and a 7th. Now finds himself fighting in the top 6 like he was in the second heat yesterday. So changes, Rafael Renhofer has got past Oleg Lan to recover to what is now 14th. Nevio Fischer has got ahead of Louis Reichel as Louis Jacobs now ends up 8th. Farin Mega starts lap number 4 as Mikkel Pedersen and Nikita Genza, with the latter just having set the fastest lap of the race. They are closing in on the leader. Top 3 covered by just under 7/10 of a second. After 3 laps of racing, we're on lap number 4 as Janis Diak is also trying to close in on Nikita Genza and finds himself around about 7/10 of a second behind. So 7 minutes and 45 seconds plus an additional lap to go. Oleg Lan past Gregor Feigenspann for 14th. Brenhofer past Moritz Wolber. Up into 12th goes the 2-3-2. Nevio Fischer now hits 9th ahead of Maximilian Schreier, having made up a position. Mega completes another lap, onto lap number 5. Just under 7.5 minutes to go, and he's extended the gap, and he's also put in the fastest lap. Here goes Nikita Genza up the inside of Mikkel Pedersen through turn 4 to get the move done for second place. And that allows Janis Diak to close in hand over fist. So Janis Diak gets a little bit of a window of opportunity, but that was a great send and a half from Nikita Genza. He was within lunge range of Mikkel Pedersen, and by golly did he get that job done. He came through, got a real good run through turn 3, and then just literally neatly parked it on the apex, and Pedersen didn't really have an answer for it. So Tom Herger gets past Leon Vakula. Jonas Ungenander, I've just noticed, has gotten up into 21st position ahead of Jonny Mertzen, is closing in on Leandro Fischer, is about 1.65 seconds behind Fischer in the 2:33. Nevio Fischer, in the meantime, has got past Lewis Jacobs for 8th position. As there is still a little bit of a stalemate happening here after Nikita Genza banzaied his way up the inside through past Mikkel Pedersen. Janis Diak waiting for the chance to get through, and at the minute hasn't got that done so far. There's an east-northeasterly wind of around about 6 kph at Wackersdorf, and 65% humidity at the moment. So we're coming up towards the halfway point of this race, and here's the battle between Balzer, Lee and Detling. That's for 5th place. And here's the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, as now Janis Diak closing in on Mikkel Pedersen in the braking zone for turn 4. There's Pedersen looking to get past Nikita Genza to retake 2nd place. It's not going to be easy as we hit the halfway point of the race itself, just under 5.5 minutes, plus an additional lap still to go here in this first of 2 races. So the pre-final at the moment, and then the final a little bit later on for these drivers. And a nice little battle here. Austin Lee looks to be closing in on Rafael Balzer, and on the previous lap he was 1/1000th slower than the 2:17, running on the Sodi Cup with Buda Racing Team. So Balzer looking for a P5. Genza trying to keep ahead of Mikkel Pedersen, but Pedersen closing in the braking zone for turn 4. He won't get the chance there because he was not close enough, and I don't think he had enough momentum carry through turn 3 to get into 4 on that particular occasion. But the timer is fast running away. The sands of time waits for nobody, let alone these drivers out here on the track. And at the moment, the fastest lap of the race is no longer held by the likes of either Farin Mega or Nikita Genza. It's the driver down in 10th position at the moment. Raphael Renhofer has just put in a 51.197, and if only that incident a little bit earlier on hadn't happened between him and the likes of Nevio Fischer, then we could have seen a very, very different dynamic at the front end of the field. As now Austin Lee gets himself up into 5th place, past Rafael Balzer, and puts in a personal best of a 51.597. But Janis Diak is waiting. He's got the ringside seat, and that could be very much the case in point for Lewis Detling in 7th position, who's waiting to see what happens between Rafael Balzer and Austin Lee. There's now 2nd, 3rd and 4th. You can hardly separate them. Genza leading Pedersen, leading Stiak. So there's about a kart length and a half, maybe 2 kart lengths at most between each respective kart. They come out of the final corner. Farin Mega crosses the line to complete lap number 9, and his lead is nearly 1.5 seconds because Mikkel Pedersen senses that now time is of the essence, as does Janis Diak, because they're both hell-bent on getting past Nikita Genza. But Genza is very, very experienced. Knows the Sony Kart chassis very, very well indeed, has used it for quite a few years now, and will have a tactic plan in place to see how he can keep ahead of Mikkel Pedersen and Janis Diak. Jonas Ungnada has now made it into 20th position, has put in a personal best, and last time around was just over 2/10 quicker than Leandro Fischer. Rafael Gridschak just behind Gregor Feigenspan with the 2:11 rounding out the top 16. So at the moment, it's Mega leading by nearly 1.4 seconds ahead of Nikita Genza, Mikkel Pedersen, Janis Diak. Now Rafael Balz has retaken 5th from Austin Lee. Nevio Fischer now up into 7th. Rafael Renhofer up into 8th as Lewis Detling, I've just noticed, has dropped down into 11th position. Lewis Jacobs and Lewis Reichel round out the top 10. Maximilian Schreier, Montego Masson, Ole Glan and Gregor Feigenspan round out the top 15. Moritz Wolber, 16th, ahead of Rafael Gridschak, Richard Thomas, Leandro Fischer, Jonas Unglada, Adrian Rohr, Jonny Mertz, Tom Reger, Leon Vakula. Looks like Tom Muller's dropped all the way down to 25th and stone dead last, I'm afraid, in the dying stages of the race. I think maybe, as Tom Muller ended up retiring. But we go into the last 90 seconds of this race. Farin Mega still comfortably leading. He's on course to continue his 100% success rate here today at Wackersdorf for the opening round of the season. And a big thank you to Kai Klus, Valentin Klus's father. Valentin, last year's now outgoing champion. Moving on to pastures new. Looking at single-seaters as an opportunity, as there goes Janis Diak up the inside of Mikkel Pedersen. Oh, but Pedersen absolutely threw caution to the wind through turn number 11. And I think he definitely caught Janis Diak not napping, but by surprise there and then, because that was one hell of a counter-attack. I haven't seen anything like that through that hairpin, because literally Diak just went, yep, here we go, and then Mikkel Pedersen said, hold my Coke Zero there, mate. That just shows how quickly you can change the momentum and put it back into your favour, as Mikkel Pedersen just quite clearly showed right there and then. Tom Muller, unfortunately, on lap number 10, has retired from the race as we go into the final few seconds. 10 on the clock remaining. So next time around, we will get the final lap board. So we'll go on to the 14th and final lap. That's it. Time has expired. 11 minutes have elapsed. And Farin Mega gets the sign he needs. Final lap board across the line. Leading now by 1.2 seconds ahead of Genza, Pedersen and Stiak. Battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. That has changed a little bit because now Rafael Renhofer and Nevio Fischer have both gotten past Austin Lee. Austin Lee was running as high as 5th in this race. He drops to 8th position, but he's got a little bit of breathing space for the moment as we are on the final tour of this race. Ole Glan past Montego Marson for 13th position. No other changes. Gregor Feigenspan rounds out the top 15. But it has been one race that has been dominated by one individual who's not had to look back at the blink, who's kept the blinkers on, and it's going to be a victory for the 276 of Farin Mega. Nikita Genza second, ahead of Mikkel Pedersen and Janis Diak, who ran out the top 4. And you can see a little bit of frustration showing there from Nevio Fischer, who crossed the line in 7th. It's the, oh, damn it, sort of mentality. Well, considering the facts of what we had earlier on in the race, the contact between him and Rafael Renhofer both put them on a southward trajectory. However, let's have a look at the finishing results. Farin Mega wins the race, the pre-final here at Wackersdorf for the opening round of the season 4 Junior Rotax by 1.1 seconds ahead of Nikita Genza. Mikkel Pedersen, P3. Janis Diak, P4. Could have been fourth. Could have been fourth for Pedersen had Janis Diak kept that move at bay that Pedersen literally banzaied up the inside of him. Renhofer in fifth. Rafael Balzer, Nevio Fischer, Austin Lee, Louis Reichel, Louis Jacobs and Louis Detling round out the top 11 positions ahead of Maximilian Schreier, Montego Maassen, Moritz Wolber, Gregor Fagenspann, Oleg Lan, Rafael Kvitschak, Joris Ungnade, Leandro Fischer, Adrian Hoare, Richard Thomas, Jonny Mertz, Tom Reger, Leon Vakula, and unfortunately a DNF for Tom Müller on lap number 10 with Fabrice Weber, who we say get well soon, a non-starter here today.